Hey you guys, welcome to the Sunday Prep Rally. This is the Prep and Rally meal prep subscription service. We do meal prep every single Sunday. I guide you through every step of the way. So that's what we're doing right here. It should take an hour to hour and a half to get through. We prep 8 or 9 staples or so on Sunday, and then all week long you're just pulling stuff out of the fridge and quickly assembling the best dinners all week long. So you can get all that information at prepandrally.com. Subscribe. It's $11.99 for the month. $59.99 for 6 months, $100 for the year, and you get at least 8 or so new recipes every single week, which you could use any way you like or prep with us every Sunday. So prepandrally.com, we have Mike here filming. Say hey, Mike. So we are working with week number 14. I'm going to give you a little preview of what we're actually doing here with your PDF.
Dee, before we get into that, do you have a Facebook group or something?
No. So we have a private Prep and Rally Facebook group, so members only. Can join that private Facebook group, and the whole thing is like this community of people doing it together. So if you are a member of Prep and Rally, you can join that private Facebook group. I will add you, and you have access to this amazing community of people doing it with you, and it's a great place to ask, how can I swap out the noodles this week? Or if I'm vegetarian, what can I do instead of the chicken? So it's a great resource for you. So definitely join that private Facebook group if you have not done so yet. If it's your first week, welcome. Super excited to have you here. The beauty of having the video this way on YouTube is that you can stop and start whenever you want. So you could do half of the prep, you could do the full prep, you could pause and take a break if you don't have the time to finish something or if you're going a little bit slower on something. So use this any way you like. That's helpful, but it's here for you to get you through that Sunday prep so you can have the most amazing, efficient, fabulous week ever. Okay? I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. We're going to be cooking the green beans, I'm doing kale tonight, I'll explain soon, and the chicken in the oven. So get that preheated, and I'm gonna show you what we are doing this week. So check it out. We have these unbelievable burgers with cabbage, a cilantro sauce, which is phenomenal. And you're gonna be forming the burgers tonight, but actually cooking them fresh I think we're serving them on Monday. So we're prepping those tonight. We're doing this Chipotle potato chicken with the cilantro sauce and green beans. You guys, this is going to be your new favorite chicken. I am obsessed. So good. So we'll guide you through that. Then we have these gorgeous little rainbow bowls with all the little fixins and a fried egg on top if you like. And then that rice is getting a second repurpose and going in our tomato soup that you could serve with a grilled cheese or really anything you like. But grilled cheese and tomato soup is just classic and kids love it. So it's all about feeding the family, one meal for everyone. So I'm going to work through this PDF. And again, one more time, Mike, to show here. When you subscribe, you get access to this PDF, which we send out every single week, and it gives you a grocery list. Here's what we're doing tonight. So here are our Sunday prep items. So I'm going to take you through all these recipes here. And we go in the order of the PDF. So number 1 is the chicken. Number 1 is continue. Number 2 is a soup. So we're just going to work our way through this. And then I show you Monday through Thursday how you actually assemble everything. So I make it very clear, very simple. But of course, everything is customizable. So feel free to switch things up to make it work for you. Okay? Everyone good?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's do this thing. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is the chicken. Okay? This chicken's so good. It's my favorite. The coconut cream, it doesn't taste so coconutty. It more is just there to add moisture to the chicken. It gives such good texture to this because it's the fat in it, I guess, is what helps it marinate really well, and it keeps it super moist, even though I hate that word. So I say to mix these ingredients with a immersion blender. I'm not going to do that because I'm feeling lazy tonight, and why do that if you don't have to? So I'm going to show you how to do it just in a bowl if you want, okay? Because it works just as well. You really only need the immersion blender if you don't want to mince up your garlic, and if you're going to be using the full chipotles, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing over there instead. So here we go. So I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of the canned coconut cream, and the coconut cream is this white thick part on top of the coconut can. So if you were to, it's kind of like an iceberg, or not iceberg, like a, what do they call that? Like an ice, like an ice rink, like an ice. You know when they go fishing in a fishing hole with ice, where you crack through the ice and you get
ice fishing.
I guess so. Whatever. So if you were to just push your little spoon through there, underneath there is like the water. You see that, you guys? Is that a good analogy? Look, check it out. If you were to make a little hole here, okay, then you could go fishing underneath there. Do you guys see that liquid underneath?
No, we can't really see it.
No? Yeah, look. You see it? It's right there.
Sure.
It's right there. See? Hello? There it is. See? I'm not giving up. You see that?
Yes.
Okay, you got it. Beautiful. Okay, cool. Moving on. Okay, so here we go. 1/4 cup of the coconut cream, which is this white thick part, and that is what gives this so much moisture and makes it so good. Okay, if you wanted to use the lighter version of the coconut milk, you probably could, maybe a little bit runnier than this, but it should still work. It'll still be fine. So don't worry about that. And then we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of this canned Chipotle. So these are my favorite brand. So good. You could order them in bulk on Amazon. I got it through from Whole Foods. So good, so flavorful. I don't know you, which is pretty awesome. This stuff is authentic. I love it. So this is the Chipotle sauce, the adobo sauce, I mean. And then the actual Chipotles are the peppers that are in here. Those are hot. Okay, all of this is pretty hot, but if you're gonna use actual peppers, it's even hotter. So that's why I say use an immersion blender so you can blend those peppers up. I'm just gonna use some of the sauce, especially because I want my kids to eat it. I don't want it to be too spicy. Okay, so that should be more than enough. Save this in like a storage container. Take it out of the can. Store it with a lid. Lasts in the fridge for a really long time. And then, or you can even freeze it, truthfully, for another time so you don't have to go out and buy that again. But what the coconut milk does also, it offsets some of that heat. So it's not going to be as spicy as you would think. Okay, and then we have 4 cloves of garlic, and that's why using an immersion blender is just easy because you don't have to actually mince them. You would just throw it in your bowl, use your immersion blender, and blend it all up because we're using the immersion blender later anyways. That's why I said to use it, but I'm not in the mood right now. So do what you want. If you want to use your immersion blender, go right ahead. All right, I have a nice tight head of garlic here, which means it's fresh. Mike, how are you doing? Are you like, you know all my little tips and tricks, right? I feel like you know all my, how you know garlic is fresh, right?
Now when I didn't know.
Really? I feel like I say that every time.
Tight.
Like a tight head of garlic, yeah. You didn't know that?
Nope.
Oh. I have some new tricks up my sleeve. Look at that. Cool. Okay, get rid of those little papers. And here we go. All right, so the way I cut my garlic, by the way, look how cute, guys. Squad. Oh, no, I don't have it on the back. I have it here on this one. The other ones I have the squad on the back, but rocking some new shirts here, which is exciting because I used to wear an apron, and like, an apron's just not me, right, Mike? An apron's just not me. I'm not formal like that. I don't know. I just like being cozy and comfortable. And this is all about being realistic and getting through your week, right? So a nice cozy shirt was totally what I was into. So here we go. Bang these open. Perfect. And now we're just going to mince it. All right, so just do the best you can. Get through your garlic. So I always just kind of run my knife through it first, and then I hold on over here and go back and forth. And I always say, Mike, what's the one kitchen tool you really need?
A good chef's knife.
A good chef's knife. Do you need 15?
Just one.
Do you need a serrated knife? I guess if you want to cut like bread. Do you need a paring knife? Do you need no, the answer is just no. The answer is just get one chef knife. You don't have to spend that much money. Just keep it sharp, buy a sharpener. All right, and we're gonna do some videos for you guys soon. I promise those are coming. I need to do some video tutorials and upload them right here because they're helpful. All right, so garlic. My hand's a little sticky. Let me just wash my hands. What I always do is leave a little garbage can right by my workstation and a towel right here so that I can
again, what's in there is
get to
just
it.
The garlic, the
Chipotle
sauce.
and adobo. Yeah, the adobo sauce basically, which has some heat to it because it's been sitting with the chipotles. And the garlic. And now we're gonna add in some smoked paprika and salt. Oh, the coconut, sorry. Yeah, okay? And just like you guys, I'm working my way through this PDF, making sure I don't steer you in the wrong direction or make things up.
And
so,
if you want the actual recipes, where should you go?
PrepandRally.com. All right?
All right.
You like that?
I think the jingle needs some work.
No, that's not catchy. Oh my goodness. It's actually crazy, those commercials that you're like 1877 cars for kids. Is that even the right number? I don't know, but I know the jingle. It's crazy, right? 1877
Okay, so what else did you
cars
just
for
put in here?
kids. Okay, sorry. Smoked paprika to further enhance that smoky flavor, and some salt. That smells so good. Smells like smoky hot dogs, right? It smells so yummy. So you see how it's like this paste almost? Okay, and this is going to coat your chicken. It is so good. If you want to let this marinate on the chicken overnight, by all means, go ahead and do that. But there's no need to. Okay.
And again, you're preheating the oven to 400?
Exactly. Okay, here we go. So all we're doing now, I have my whole chicken cut up into eighths in a baking dish, okay? I'm going to take 2 potatoes that I have washed. You can peel them or not peel them. It's totally up to you. Some extra garlic there. And all I'm doing is just cutting it into thin rounds. And I just like cooking potatoes with chicken because you bang out 2 things in one. Plus the potatoes just pick up all the flavors from the chicken. It's so good.
Right, it absorbs all that.
Oh,
yumminess.
yes. It's the best part. And then they get like, if you like reheat it, it gets like toasty and crispy, like the edges, right? Like the crispy potatoes. Mike, how good is this chicken?
Unbelievable.
Mike taste tested this one. This was like a major, major win. And just go easy on the Chipotle and adobo. Just depends how much or how little you want to use, how hot you want to make it. Also, a really great mixture for chicken wings. How good would that be, Mike, for like game day? Mm-hmm. Right? It's such a good idea. So definitely make your favorite chicken wings, coat them in this mixture, and bake them off.
It's funny that you called it game day.
Game day. Why is that nerdy?
It's like it was game day.
Should I just call it Sunday? Annoying Sunday?
Oh, for the big game.
For the big old game. No? Fine. People don't call it game day. Whatever. I guess, no, people call like Super Bowl Sunday game day though, right? No? They don't do that.
Or
okay.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday. Okay, fine. Super Bowl Sunday, guys. You know what you're making. When is the Super Bowl?
In a month.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Here are 2 little chicken wings. That's kind of like what you could do there. So, okay, normally your chicken would not already be in the pan, but I just didn't want to have to dirty up too. So I'm just going to do some maneuvering around here. So put those potatoes underneath your chicken, okay? And then we're just going to quickly season and oil the potatoes a little bit. And then we're going to put the chicken back on top. Okay, but if you have your chicken in a different container, go you. Way easier. Okay. Try to get a single layer as possible. Depends on how big your potatoes were, but you should be fine. Okay, beautiful. Now, salt and pepper all the chicken and the potatoes, and we're gonna move some things around even more. Hang on 1 second. Little drizzle of oil. Give it a little mix around. So you want to make sure you're seasoning all these layers. Okay, I'm gonna flip my chicken as well. I know it doesn't look so pretty. Sorry, you guys. I know, but undercarriage. What movie was that from, Mike?
Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaid. Oh my God, I love her in that movie. She's so freaking funny. Oh my God. Okay, so there we go. Beautiful. Undercarriage. Okay, here we go.
So normally what you would do is you would just put the potatoes down, salt,
oil, and then put your
put the
chicken on top.
Down,
I
salt,
just,
oil.
yeah, I just like.
You're oiling the chicken too?
This is the prep and rally way. It's the lazy way, and the not wanting to waste a second dish to store your chicken in while you were doing the rest. So we bang it all out in one shot, Michael.
Okay. What else are you putting on here?
Okay, so here we go. We got our chicken down. Beautiful. Make sure everything is salted. Perfect. Okay, and now what we do is we're going to take this beautiful mixture and just rub it all over that chicken.
Both sides or just the...
Yeah, just as best as you can. Definitely the top sides, but if you can kind of shimmy it all around it. So I'm going to take my little tongs afterwards and do some more. But you guys, oh my God, it smells so good already. You're going to love this.
Should you just use your hands?
You should, but the only thing is I'm all about using hands. Here, I would be a little careful just because you're using something spicy. So whenever you're like cooking with jalapeno or chipotles or anything like that, I just kind of steer clear because even if you wash your hands afterwards, you still have like remnants of spicy craziness on your hands and it hurts like hail. So I would be careful. All right, here we go. All right, so just get that fully coated. All right, and don't forget you have some salt, and you have the paprika in that chipotle mixture. So, and then you also season the chicken as well and the potatoes. And those potatoes are just gonna pick up all those drippings. It's gonna be so insanely good, you guys.
And again, the oven is set to 400.
Oven set to 400. Okay, we're gonna be baking this, I say 60 minutes. I do uncovered. You could covered if you like. I always usually cook my chicken. Well, it depends which kind. This I'm cooking uncovered. I'm gonna give it a tiny bit more oil. You don't need too much because you have that oil from the coconut, but just a teeny tiny bit. Boop. Okay, good, beautiful. One more little bit of salt. Never forget to season your food, you guys, okay? Beautiful, that goes in the oven for about an hour and we are done. All right, and this chicken, you are gonna be serving with that cilantro sauce.
Don't forget to set the timer.
Set those timers, you guys. Set those timers. So that cilantro sauce you're gonna serve with it, and it's just the best sauce ever, and it further like cools off that heat from the chicken. So make it as spicy or as not spicy as you like. All right, moving right along. We're making a tomato soup. All right. Getting my pot. Oh, I have my little cord here. My pot heated up with some oil. Okay. Good. We good, son? And we're gonna cut up our onion. We're gonna dice an onion, and then I also told you guys to get some shredded grated carrots. My store did not have them. I'm gonna be using regular carrots and just giving them a fine dice. Use whatever you have. If you have shredded carrots, it's just easy to throw them in there. All right, so go. Take your little peel off. Beautiful. Okay, and here we go. All your peels. The oil is getting nice and hot over there. And you guys know the drill. Here we go. I hold my onion like this. I do 2 slices that way, and then a couple slices this way, not going all the way through till the end so it stays intact. And this way. Right, Mike? Mike, I would love to see like you actually cut now, because I feel like you know all the proper ways to do things. Now it would just mean like putting it to action, right?
I've never done it once. So
I know. It would actually be hilarious.
In theory, I know how to do it.
That would be the funniest thing, actually, to watch you cut something. You've seen me cut a pepper 1,000 times, correct? You know my technique for pepper?
Yeah.
Okay, that would actually be the funniest video. We're doing this. That's going to be so good. All right, that's going to be an IGTV series. Can Mike cook after all of his lessons? That's so funny, because it's a totally different thing, like watching it or hearing it and knowing it versus actually putting it to practice and basically knowing how to do it.
Nah, I'd rather you just do it.
No, it would be very funny. That's going to happen. I'm excited for that.
Okay, so what's in it? Did you put oil in there? Or
Yeah, so a little bit of oil. We have our onion and onions everywhere. Try to get them in the pot. Helpful. Okay, and we're gonna do 3 cloves of garlic. So that same head of garlic right here. Pull off about 3 heads, or 3 cloves, not 3 heads.
How do you know if it's fresh or
a nice tight head? Yeah, when the cluster is like tight together and it's hard to separate it, you know it's a fresher one. If you see in the store like a bunch of like cloves falling off, you know it's not the freshest. So get yourself a nice tight head of garlic. Beautiful. Okay. So, and I recommend using a dairy pot for this if you care about such things, because we're using this for the grilled cheese on Thursday. So, use a dairy pot. I'm using a meat pot because I'm actually going to be freezing it. But use a dairy pot here, okay? And then we're just going to throw some garlic in there. So again, just mince your garlic. We're going to be blending the soup with an immersion blender to make it smooth afterwards, so don't worry about it. You can just chop it any which way. You don't have to go crazy on it. Just throw it in there. Okay, how we doing? Hope you guys are good. If you guys need to pause anytime, feel free to do so. And then join us right back here. Okay? So,
Is that how videos work on the internet?
I guess that's how video works, right?
You can just pause it whenever you
You
want.
can just pause it. It's kind of crazy, right? I know.
I didn't know that.
What a concept. What a concept.
Okay, so in here is just the onions and garlic and
Onions.
some oil.
Garlic, oil. I have 3 carrots. I have like 3 like baby tiny carrots. I say to use about a cup or so of shredded carrots,
And
but
those are peeled already, right?
I've peeled these. So if you don't have shredded carrots, use what you have. So I'm using these. And you just want to chop them as small as you can. That's why I like using the shredded ones, because when you can just get pre-shredded, you don't have to peel, you don't have to chop, you just throw them right in. They cook quickly because they're small. But if you do not, just use these and just cut them lengthwise into kind of like matchsticks in a way. And then turn them and cut this way so you have little dice. And again, you're going to be blending it with your immersion blender so it doesn't have to look pretty. Just try to get them small so they cook pretty quickly. Okay? Good. In we go.
Mostly.
That's another good thing about a chef's knife, is that like the surface area, easy to get things from your board to the pot. All right, here we go. Mix it around. Beautiful. So if we were to put some celery in here, that would be called a mirepoix, which is like the culinary trio, which is celery, onion, and carrot. That's like the greatest base for just about anything you can cook in the kitchen. All right, so I have my 2 cans of tomato. This is like the easiest, most ridiculous tomato soup. It's just so simple with ingredients that you usually just have at home anyways. So it's a great soup to make whenever. And I feel like all kids like tomato soup, right? Mike, do you like tomato soup? I feel like you do, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Want it served with grilled cheese?
Much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not like a soup for just dinner, right? You're like soup and something. Unless it's like a fully loaded something or other. All right, so get your stock in there. Using a veggie stock. Give it a little mix around. That's it. You're gonna season with some salt and pepper. And you could always wait for it to cook and then season it again once you're done after you taste it. Always gotta taste, and that way you know what it needs. All right, beautiful. That's it. So let this do its thing. Beautiful. It's not gonna cook very long. You're literally just cooking it so that all the flavors blend together and so that that carrot cooks through. So I'm just gonna cover it to make that happen even faster.
How high should the heat be?
I'm leaving it high until it starts to boil, and then once it's boiling, I'm gonna lower it to simmer and let it simmer for like 20 minutes or so. And then you can let it cool for a little bit and then blend it with an immersion blender. Okay? Beautiful. Let's get our rice going because that's gonna take the next, the most time. So we work in order of how things should go. So the soup is gonna need some time to cool before you can store it. So that's why we do that first. The chicken obviously takes a while, so that one in absolute number 1 first. And then we have the rice now, that's gonna take the 3rd longest. Does that make sense? Okay. So I have my long grain brown rice right in here. And then I'm gonna fill it with my water. Okay. Classic rice. If you wanted to use white rice here, just use the directions on your box of rice, okay? You could always use white rice. I just like using brown. We're gonna be using this rice for the grain bowls and for the tomato soup. So again, use a dairy or a part of pot here. So we're bringing this up to a boil and then we're gonna lower it to a simmer and simmer until everything is absorbed, okay? So this we're gonna switch out in a minute with the soup. To this, we're gonna season it a little bit. We're gonna add our salt, just so it has flavor, okay? It's always good to season like the water first so that you have good flavor before you even, you know, that way it all cooks together. You have nice flavorful rice. So I have garlic powder there. We did some salt. I'm adding some turmeric just because it looks really pretty, and especially this time of year where a lot of people are sick, turmeric is really good for you. Super healthy. Doesn't really have much flavor, but it's just a nice thing to add in. And here we go. Give it a little mix around and bring this up to a boil, and then we're gonna lower it to a simmer and cover until all the water is absorbed. And if you're using brown rice, it's gonna take a little bit longer than white rice, obviously. It takes about like 40 minutes or so for the brown rice to cook through, okay? That is all. Next up, we're gonna make our green beans. So instead of the green beans, because my delivery guy forgot it today, I'm going to be making kale chips because I looked in my fridge. I happen to have had 3 massive bunches of this dino kale, which is my favorite kale ever. And I don't remember who I was talking to, but I mentioned like kale chips at some point. I think I was talking about like healthy kid food, right, Mike? Is that what we're doing? I think we were talking about like feeding kids and like crunchy foods, and I said kale chips, and I was like, oh my God, I haven't had kale chips in forever. Love those things. So, hold on. Okay. So if you are doing green beans, get your baking sheet out, just like I'm doing. If the tips have like little stems on them, trim those off. Those are so annoying. If you could buy trimmed green beans, like I say, that saves you a ton of time. And we're just gonna season them with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and olive oil. And then we're just gonna roast them in that same oven, 400 degrees for like 30 minutes or so. If you're doing kale, like I am, like kale chips, and it'll take maybe a little bit less time, but basically the same thing. So I'm using a spray. If you have a spray, you can use it. I just like how it evenly distributes, especially for chips like this. Okay, so just get your oil on there. That helps them crisp up. Salt and garlic powder. I love kale chips. Mike, right? We've made kale chips in forever. Yeah. They used to be my favorite because they're crispy, crunchy, amazing texture. They're so healthy. They're fun to make. Garlic powder. You could season this with anything. And then to take your little hands and give it a little toss around. Yum. You guys are gonna be so good. I'm like really happy that we could use this up because I literally bought 3 of these last week and it lasted really well in the fridge. But I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. So I was like, you know what? Let's just roast it up. When in doubt, just roast. You can roast anything. That's like my answer to life is just stick it in the oven and roast it with olive oil, salt, and pepper. Good. So make them on a single layer as best as possible.
So there again, just garlic powder, salt.
Pepper, and you want to do pepper. I didn't do pepper. But salt, olive oil, garlic powder. Pop them in the oven. Same oven as the chicken. Okay?
So 400.
400. All right. Beautiful. Those will be in for like 30 minutes or so. It depends on your green beans. If you got like the French green beans or the larger ones, but around like 30 minutes or so. All right, my water started to come to a boil, and so is my soup. You see around the edges, there's some boilage happening, so I'm gonna lower this down to a simmer. I'm gonna give that 1 more minute, and then I'm gonna lower it. All right, moving right along, so number 5.
We're about 27 minutes into this.
Awesome. That's so good, right? Yeah, perfect.
And you've already done chicken,
it's crazy.
The soup, the rice, and the green bean / kale chips.
Exactly. Which is so crazy because I remember we talked about this last time, but like you find some recipes that are like, okay, from start to finish, it takes 40 minutes to execute. And it's like, in 40 minutes, we prepped the entire week, right? It's just the craziest thing. It's just you gotta cook smart, man. All right, moving that over there so that we can work with this big pan over here. So, also this is boiling now. I'm gonna cover, is this boiling? How pretty is that turmeric? Covering it, gonna lower it down to a simmer, and that's gonna cook for like 30, 40 minutes.
So the soup is there, here's
Soup
the rice.
is simmering.
Everything is simmering?
Yep, simmer, 400 for the green beans / kale and the chicken. Exactly.
What are you up to next?
All right, we are making a balsamic cabbage. So, normally I say to buy purple cabbage. I'm using green because I had it in my fridge. So use what you have. They taste very similar, but it's just different color. But use whichever you prefer. And we're gonna saute that in this large pan. We're gonna be using this in our grain bowls. And we're also going to be using it in the burgers, okay? So work with a par of pan here, or you could also do meat depending, okay? So we're basically just gonna shred this. If you did not buy pre-shredded, all you do is just go right through the core, okay? I love cabbage. I think it's like the most underrated vegetable ever. It's just beautiful and so flavorful. We do them in steaks, we do them roasted, sauteed. So I'm just cutting out the cores. I just made like a little triangle just to cut that core out. I remember my mom used to make cabbage soup as a kid. We used to fight over who got those cores. Love those cores, the best. I used to always make cabbage soup actually as a kid. Did mom ever make cabbage soup, Mike?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I feel like that was my childhood. Like cabbage soup with meat. Oh my god, such a good dinner. We should do that for a meal prep. Let's do that. That's like a perfect one pot kind of meal. It's my fave.
So fire's
Super
on,
good. All right,
olive oil.
fire's on. Got some olive oil in there, and we're just gonna add all of our ingredients. So here we go. We have our half of a cabbage with the core pulled out. Okay, obviously if you have cabbage that's already shredded, even easier. You can just throw that right in your pan with the olive oil. You want to go as thin as possible here, because then it will just take less time to actually cook. Okay, so you got nice and thin. Throw that into your olive oil. Balsamic cabbage is just like the greatest thing. I love it so much. I'm changing direction here. It really doesn't matter. It's all just going to break down anyways. You can even flip it like this for a little if you want. Flip it like that. Don't make no difference.
Just as thin as possible.
Just as thin as possible, exactly. But it's all going to get super soft and break down anyways. I love cabbage so much. All right, this does wilt down, so it's going to seem like a lot, but it's really going to wilt down and become a lot less. So don't be nervous. But you want to work with a very big pan here. So go as big as you can. And let's do it with our other one. And using a knife the proper way, you use your little knuckle to gauge how thick or thin you go. Okay, I'm going to turn it this way. You tuck those fingertips in, and that way you're never at risk of chopping them off. If you get to this point, honestly, you could just like, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Throw it in. So good. Okay, here we go. Cabbage goes in there. And we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients right away. So pile that on in. Okay. Good. Good, good. Already starting to smell so good in here. Again, all these recipes can be found at prepandrally.com. A family meal prep subscription service. You save an insane amount of money and an insane amount of time. You're repurposing like ingredients in multiple ways. So you're buying things once, but using it in a million different ways. And you're not buying things at the store that look good and then you don't end up using it all week long. So, all right, I'm doing a lot of modifications today, but that's what I really promote is modify to make it work for you. My store didn't have balsamic, so I'm using red wine vinegar. Same thing. You want acid. You want something in there to give it that like briny kind of flavor, which I love. And then we're going to add some maple syrup and some salt. And that's going to help start really breaking this down, soften it. You can do some pepper in there as well if you like. You could totally also leave this balsamic out. Just do a little touch of it just to have some nice sweetness, because kind of like that sweet and sour kind of tangy. This also goes really well with, if you want to add some raisins in at the end, it's really good. Mike is anti that.
Blame me?
Blame you. I blame you.
Real nice.
Real nice. All right, so here we go. Give it a little mix around, and then just kind of leave it alone for a little bit. Let it start breaking down, and keep moving it.
So one more time, what's in there?
So we started with olive oil. We threw our cabbage in there, some salt, some balsamic vinegar, or in my case, red wine vinegar, and some maple, just to sweeten a little bit for that sweet and sour kind of flavor.
What are some of the good substitutes in case people don't have red wine vinegar or maple?
Apple cider vinegar is good. I guess regular vinegar could work. White wine vinegar. You just want that acid.
And what about for the maple?
Maple, agave always work. Whenever I use maple, it's almost always interchangeable with agave or honey, or even sugar if you want. Just adds that sweetness. Okay? I just like how maple syrup is like looser than honey, so it distributes a lot easier than honey does. Plus, it doesn't have as strong of a flavor as honey. So I really like using it. And then compared to agave, it's like lower on the glycemic index, so it's just a healthier option. I remember like agave's kind of had its moment, but a lot of people are turning away from it now because it actually spikes your insulin levels. So it's It's not as great as we thought, apparently.
All right,
Okay.
so one more time. We have the chicken and the kale chips or green beans
In the oven.
in the oven. You have a soup that's simmering.
Simmering, exactly. Simmering right there.
Rice that's simmering.
Rice that's simmering. Cabbage that's cooking.
What do we got left?
All we have left to do is make our cilantro sauce, and then we're forming burgers. The end. Easy. And you've just cooked for the week. And all those meals that I showed you up here, which are these burgers with the cabbage and the cilantro sauce. The cilantro sauce with that insane chicken that I told you about, plus your kale chips and or green beans, your tomato soup with the rice, and your grilled cheese, which you're going to whip up that night because it's just that easy. And these amazing grain bowls that incorporate the rice and your cabbage. And you're going to fry a fresh egg and cut up a couple vegetables.
So it's about what? 5-10 minutes of active cooking?
Yeah. I mean, it really depends on the day, but like, that's like 15 minutes or so.
Of active cooking?
Active, yeah. But it depends who you are and how long it takes you. Like, to make that green bowl, you're cutting up some fresh vegetables. But like, you can put your kids to work as well and have them cut it. At least you have a plan. You've already shopped for it. But usually, most of the active cooking is like, usually like 2 of the nights is like a 2-minute night where you're literally just like taking the chicken, throwing it in, taking the green beans, throwing it in. So it's very, very simple, and dinner happens in minutes. All right, keep mixing around this cabbage. You see how it's already starting to soften, so keep moving it around so that everyone gets a turn in that vinegar and close to the heat. So everything is cooking down. Oh my God, it smells so good. Okay, beautiful. Okay. So, here we go. We're going to make our cilantro sauce here. If you don't like cilantro, I already wrote a note in here. You could use parsley, don't worry. I have my mayonnaise already in my container here. We're going to be using, where did I put my coconut? Oh, Mikey passed that, sorry. Thank you. So that same coconut that you bought, you're going to be using some of it in here as well. And then
repurposing, saving time and money.
Exactly, always. We already figured if you have it, why not use it? And then if you have any more left over, you could always message me, ask me how you can repurpose it even more so. But look, all the cream is basically done. Now you just have that liquid there. You could totally store that, freeze it, use it in smoothies, use it any way you like, but don't throw it out.
Does it taste like coconut
It's good
water?
stuff.
Could you drink it or no?
Let me see. Yeah. It's like the same thing as like coconut water. It's like a little bit on the fattening side to just drink it straight up, but like add a little bit to your smoothies. It's so healthy. It's like the healthiest fat. So add a little bit to your smoothie. Instead of using like an almond milk or something, do some water plus this. It's yummy. Okay, so here we go. So we have our mayo, we have the coconut cream, salt, lemon juice, olive oil, and then cilantro. So let's do our salt because we have it right here anyways. We're going to do our lemon. You could do lemon zest in here as well if you like. I didn't say to do that in the recipe, but you can. And normally they're pits, but for some reason I have lemons right now that don't look like they have any pits, so I'm just risking it and going straight in. Yeah, it's weird, a pitless lemon. Is that possible?
I guess we'll find out when we're eating.
We'll find out, yeah. Everyone squirts out right now, let's see. No, that is crazy. That's amazing. That's a great new invention. Pitless lemon. Where is my towel? Here we go. All right, so we have our lemon and
You did salt, you did coconut, you did mayo.
a little extra virgin olive oil for some good flavor, and then we're gonna add our cilantro. Yum, I love cilantro. If you're a hater, just use parsley. Okay, it's totally fine. Keep moving this around. You see it's really wilting down. And I like when the cabbage is so soft, so keep it going. You could lower your heat a little bit so it's not too high, but I work like on a medium-high heat. Let it keep breaking down even more so and get really soft. I'm gonna check on my oven real quick. Make sure we're doing okay. Oh my goodness, yum. That looks so good. Okay, so the kale is still not crisp yet. Your green beans should also not totally be done yet. Here we go. Cilantro or parsley if you've chosen to do that. Take your spoon out. And pop your cilantro in there. I think I did more cilantro than I said in the recipe. Okay, that's more than enough. This, if you have any leftover cilantro, you could, mine's pre-washed, so that's even easier. So that way I know during the week I'm gonna actually use it. When things are not washed, you tend to just ignore it because it's an annoying thing to do. If you're already washing it for this, wash the whole thing and then store it in paper towel. And if it is not wet like that, wet it a little bit so that it stays a little damp, and then just throw it in like a plastic baggie or something. Leave it open so the air can circulate in there, and that's like the best way to store your herbs. I will use this in a salad. I will use this as a garnish. Do not throw that away. Okay? And now we have our immersion blender, and we're gonna blend it up. Let's do this thing. So easy, not having to cut it. Okay, so start off slow. Make sure with an immersion blender, make sure it's always fully submerged under the sauce or the liquid. Otherwise you end up in a sauce bath. It's gonna be your new favorite sauce, you guys. You're gonna throw this on everything.
I think you say.
What? What did you say?
I said I think you say that every week.
I know. But that's what's so great about these recipes, that you can use them over and over and over again, and hopefully you love them all. Okay, I eyeballed the amount of lemon, which is why it's kind of looser. It ended up probably being like 3 tablespoons versus 2. So, yum. It tastes so good though. So if yours is too loose, you can always add more coconut milk or mayo. If it is too thick, you could always add a little bit of water if you need, or some lemon. So there are always ways, especially with a sauce, to adjust and make it work. These are my favorite containers. I don't think I ever showed you guys how it looks with this little orange piece, but it's just like a little orange piece of rubber. And that's what really makes it airtight and makes it not spill. Because if I were just to close it like this, it's great and they work if I'm not going to be like shaking it around. But if you shake it like this, it is going to spill out. So you need these on there in order to keep it leak proof. Best containers ever. They're in the shop section on my Instagram. They're also in the shop section on my site, pepperandrally.com. So you can find them there. They're so good. They're called the, what's the name? The Parfait, Le Parfait containers. They're so great. All right, so keep mixing this around, and then we're gonna form our burgers, and then we done. Can you believe it? It's quick. Okay, here we go. Let this keep doing its thing. You see all that liquid, all the vinegar starting to evaporate, and that's exactly what you want. It's softening up the cabbage, and it's all evaporating. Yum. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. We don't need this anymore. And we're gonna start forming some burgers, and then we're done. So I have some just like burger meat here. Burgers I keep very simple. When you guys saw this grocery list, you're like, wait, what do you mean? There's no spices or anything in the burgers. There's no egg. There's no like breadcrumbs, nothing. Most burgers you get at a restaurant are just straight meat with salt and pepper seasoning the tops and the bottoms, and then they grill it. So that's all we're doing. If you want to add something that you like or that you know your family is into, by all means go for it. We are keeping these so simple and going straight up. You just want to have good quality meat. So if you could get like grass-fed meat, that's a really good one. 80-20 ratio, 80-20 fat ratio is a really good number to have for meat as well. So I'm kind of making the size. Make them any size you like. If you have some kiddos in the house, it's a fun idea to make them even smaller. Maybe you get like mini slider buns. If you want to form them into like meatballs, you could do that also. It's totally your call. But for the actual dinner, if you want to eat what I recommend in here, you're taking some of that cabbage, putting it in the burger with that cilantro sauce. So good. If you want to make some pickled onions on the side, you could do that too. But it's really, really good.
And you can make these as thick as you prefer.
Thick or thin as you like.
Just adjust the cooking time.
Exactly. And you can use them on the grill, you can do them in the broiler, any which way you like. It's totally your call. There are no rules here. That's what's so great about this prep, is that you literally make it your own, and we have that private Facebook group as a resource for you to ask those questions to figure out how it can work for you. Whether you have picky kids, you have special diets, you have restrictions, you know, whatever it may be. There's always a way to kind of switch things up to make it work. Okay? And also for $11.99 a month, I mean, you're at least getting 8 or so new recipes each of those weeks that you remember for that month. So even if you don't do a full prep, you're still creating like a little cookbook of your own by just collecting all those recipes every week. So either way, I think it's a no-brainer, but I'm biased.
I agree.
We're biased. All right, so that's it. So I have 2 little ones here, which I'm going to serve for my little girls, and then the rest are for us. Okay? You're probably going to get more than I got out of that because I did a little bit less meat today. So make as many as you like. Make sure you give your hands a wash. And that's it, guys. That is the whole thing. These are going to get stored. You're going to cook them fresh. I think Monday night we're serving them. Again, feel free to like mix around the schedule. I set up the schedule so that things stay fresh at certain times when they should be eaten. So like if we're ever doing fish for meal prep, the fish is always going to be recommended to serve the first night. With these, I'd rather not have the meat sitting around in the fridge for too long. So yeah, so we're doing them the first night as well. So these are should go covered in your fridge. You're going to cook them fresh that night. And also if you wanted to do them now, you can get it out of the way. Totally up to you. All right, so the cabbage is done. Looks nice and soft, looks so good. I'm shutting this off. This is going to go in a storage container. The rice is going to cook for another like 20 minutes or so until all that water is absorbed. The soup I'm going to shut off. It's done now. So that can start cooling. And I'm going to use my same immersion blender that I used for the cilantro sauce. I'm going to give it a little rinse off and then just blend this all together with the onions and the carrots so it's nice and smooth. And then let's see what's doing in here. Woo! Chicken looks so good. So it has like 30 more minutes. Kale chips are looking awesome. We'll let them keep going. You hear that? I love kale chips. I'm gonna let them keep going a little longer so they all become crunchy. And that's it. That's the whole thing. So you will see this all on my Instagram throughout the week. So be sure to follow @PrepAndRally on Instagram to see how it all goes down. Follow your PDF because I show you right here how to actually turn this into dinner every night of the week. So for night 1, I tell you to take the burgers, how much of it to use, what to heat it up with, what you're using from the prep. Burgers, cabbage, green beans, cilantro sauce. So make it all so clear for you to get through the week with ease because it shouldn't be stressful. It should be fun. You should be eating amazing food all week long. Your kids should be eating the same food as you. And that is really our mission here, is to just make your life easier and rally through the week together. So head to prepandrally.com. That is where you could subscribe and get access to all these PDFs and meal preps and recipes. And come follow me on Instagram for even more meal prep and inspiration. Hope to see you guys on there. All right, have an amazing week. Love you guys.